We love hip hop.
Big salute to, well, I don't know if it's big salute to Big Meech. A lot of people are happy that Meech is home. Let me see if I could pull up something. I didn't even really extra prepare for this, but Meech is home. Let me see if I could find some people who's posted about Big Meech's return. How long was Big Meech gone for? Since 2007 or something like that? Long time ago. All right, let me pull up some Big Meech footage here for the gang. And then the thing is, I'm kind of conflicted.
Can't be stopped. I don't see nobody stop. I don't see none to come after us either. None. I don't nobody. I never do this again because this many niggas and this much money can't get along and stay together. They gonna fall out over girls or something. We don't fall out over no girls. We hit them all. They hit my hoes, I hit they hoes. The ones that don't want to be shared, then that's your own personal one. Other than that, then we ain't falling out over no hoes. And we got all type of niggas around here. It's short niggas, tall niggas, bald niggas.
I don't know if this is, that might be AI. Let's pull up some more stuff here. I got something courtesy of TMZ. Let's get that off the screen. Big Meech released from prison. And this happened yesterday. Finishing sentence in halfway house. I think this is one of his more recent pictures. The infamous co-founder of the Black Mafia family crime enterprise is out from behind bars and now finishing his sentence in a conferior surrounding in Florida. The Federal Bureau of Prisons tells TMZ Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, my bad, was transferred on Tuesday from FCI Coleman Low in Willwood to the community confinements overseen by BOP's Miami Residential Reentry Management Office. There's a mugshot of him. Our sources say Big Meech is now serving his sentence in a halfway house. Big Meech was arrested in 2005 and in 2008 was sentenced. Bang! Told you. I was right in there. 2007. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted of charges related to drug trafficking and money laundering. Earlier this year, a judge shortened his sentence to almost 3 years. So I guess he got off a little early. It's unclear when Big Meech will officially finish his sentence, but the thing here is he's no longer in federal prison. Brittany K. Barnett, attorney to Big Meech and co-founder of the Buried Alive Project, tells TMZ she's overjoyed. He's free and nearly 20 years behind bar, and he's used his time in prison to focus on his own personal growth. He has the opportunity now to start a new chapter of his life. And they're talking about 50 Cent has made a little thing about him. Not a little thing. Right? The BMF series that they made on him. You know, Big Meech, other guys like Jay-Z. Who else? Give me some major drug figures in the game. Freeway Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Rouse. A lot of big drug figures have been glorified. And when I started seeing, you know, that Big Meech was home, I was like, yeah, right on. Good for Big Meech. He finished his time. He paid his debt to society. Cool. However, is it cool? Is it cool? Because these niggas are selling drugs across America. Like the whole of the United States. Like they weren't just popular in Detroit and LA and different places like that. Like the Black Mafia family, I think when they busted them back in the days, I was watching a documentary on them way back in the day. They said they had over 700 stash houses. Like they were going crazy. And I don't want to be a hypocrite because I'm an ex-drug dealer. Obviously, I'm not going to be super holier than thou. I've been there, done that. Never on that level, obviously. But are we super happy to be like glorifying the return of the drug dealer? And can MEECH redeem himself when he's home? Like, let me see something. Let's find another video. I'm not even going anywhere more into this video. Raw footage documentary about raw footage. 2 blood clot raw. Jesus Christ.
BMF, one of the biggest underground operations in American history. Millions, 10 neighborhoods. But for this video, we start off in Boynton. The area is cut off by a river from the rest of the city, really making it its own community. This is truly the bottom of the bottom. So let's head down a dark abandoned alley all the way to the dead end. 1555 Edsel Street, one of 3 functional houses on the entire block. Here is where 2 brothers were born, Demetrius and Terry Flannery. Growing up, the 2 brothers had a difficult upbringing, but always managed to be okay. Demetrius was good-looking, charismatic, and flashy. On the other hand, the younger Terry was more reserved and under the radar. Needless to say, the 2 brothers were polar opposite personalities, but despite their differences, they always shared one common trait. Since a very young age, the Flannerys always had a knack for hustling and getting money. From junior high school, the 2 hustled and sold anything they could get their hands on. Both equally as gifted, just went about it in completely different ways.
I'm asking a question here in the chat. Should we celebrate Big Meech?
Demetrius, also known as Meech, was flashy and always wanted the girls to see as well. Meanwhile, Terry hated the attention and always wanted to remain low-key. This will later be relevant, but for now we focus on how they got their start.
No one knows.
Yeah, but that was the rumor.
Unfortunately, this was just the start of the chaos. Just a few months later, E.D. Boyd's nephew Kilo was found dead inside of his truck. This devastated the 50 Boys and they started packing everywhere they went. You just never knew what could go down on a daily basis in Detroit. May 3rd, 1987, the 50 Boys drive out to Coney Island Diner on Woodward Ave. 30 deep, they sit in the parking lot playing music from their fancy cars. What they don't know is that Leighton Simon lives right around the corner. Or maybe they do, and that's why they're there. Well, either way, Leighton hears about this and rolls up with his brother. And from here, both sides let off. Leighton was hit 4 times in the back, but
I'm playing some of this just to also set up a picture here, right? Because, yes, Meech wasn't taken down for a whole bunch of M's, even though it was like a whole RICO, so M's were involved, but he wasn't directly taken down for M's. But when it comes to like the whole drug game and, you know, when things start to get to the high stakes, you're rarely getting to moving keys, multiple keys, without a few people's feet getting stepped on and some people getting hurt. And a lot of times when people get hurt in the drug game, it's not like somebody could just go run, call the police or whatever. So when you hurt somebody, a lot of times you're trying to hurt them for good. You're doing it for keeps. You feel me? So no matter how much Meech wasn't convicted for an M, a lot of M's happened around these guys' rise in the drug game.
thankfully he made it. However, he had to see his brother go, and this scarred him for life. His hatred for the 50 Boys was now eternal, and he wanted to take out their top dog. But for now, he waited for the perfect opportunity. From this moment on, the 50 Boys were as confident as ever.
Look at these guys. Holy. These guys are living large.
For now, he waited for the perfect opportunity. From this moment,
look at these guys. Look at Big Meech right here. Full suit, probably tailored. This mink probably cost a good 10 racketies. Holy. Celebration.
the 50 Boys were as confident as ever. They defended themselves successfully against the Beast of Detroit, and of course they were making huge money in the process. Big Meech had gotten cocky, and in 1989 he wanted to prove another point to Leighton. May 22nd, 1989. Big Meech decides to throw a block party right in front of Leighton's grandma's house. He parks his car, plays music, and all of his friends join around. Well, when Leighton gets the news, he's furious and heads that way instantly. What happens next is up for debate. Either way, Meech gets hit 12 times and is rushed to the hospital. Somehow he survived, but this definitely shook him up. So the 50 boys sat down with Meech and decided that they needed to change their lifestyle. And for Meech, this meant leaving Detroit for good. It wasn't an easy decision because leaving behind that local fame is a difficult choice. The 50 boys were easily the most popular guys in Detroit. However, Leighton was not playing and their whole operation could end at any second. So nearly all of the 50 boys decided to leave Detroit behind
and go to Atlanta.
He made it his home base. This is where he wanted to be top dog. So he and his guys would go to the club every night in their supercars.
I don't think we need to go through all of the whole BMF story, obviously. They took over Atlanta. They met with a whole bunch of other guys, started expanding their operation and distributing drugs all across the U.S. They started linking up with different rappers in the game and basketball players. You can see Allen Iverson at parties with them. Young Jeezy was connected to these guys. A lot of stuff. They had Blue Da Vinci for a second, which really wasn't a thing. Like, he never really dropped no music. It was basically cleaning money. So this guy's home now. And everybody's super, super, super happy about his return. I won't say everybody. Let me ask y'all, because I'm going to look into the chat over here. I'm asking, should we celebrate Big Meech? 69% of y'all say yes, and there is 31% of y'all that say no. I was watching a video earlier, and we're going to actually probably get back to this individual at some point with the brother Hassan Campbell.
Under the tree, what's for me?
He was going off on Big Meech.
When we are praising a notorious drug dealer for coming home, laying out the red carpet for him, and then making his TV show the #1 TV show in America. So now we get to watch Little Meech portray his father as the nigga that turned my father into a fiend. And no, I'm not saying Big Meech was the one supplying my father, but he was supplying everybody else's father. And we reward that. In Black America, we reward genocide with happiness. And we consciously know after watching, because if you didn't read the books, if you just watched TV and you watched the Black Panthers, the movie, and you saw our brothers who were revolutionaries, went outside, started programs, free lunch, went outside, fought for stop signs so cars couldn't speed and run children over. These brothers that wanted to build a community was infiltrated by the CIA and the FBI and flooded dope in our community, then crack to neutralize us and make sure that we never rise back to power and become the Native Americans that we were.
Talk the things.
We can never get back that get back for our ancestors because we so high and so drunk, we can't even figure out who they are. What did Bill Ray say in that song? Who's my pops, Paul or Sam? I seen the male mom. Is it that nigga in Clinton? Niggas don't even know our ancestors. Can we look back and see who our grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-grandfathers is? No!
Talk the things.
But we know who Big Meech is. And my
talk the things, brethren.
Daughters is supposed to marry your sons?
That boy Hassan talking.
Am I supposed to sit down at the table with you know the woman that played Big Meech's mother? She reminds me sort of my mother. My mother never accepted me being a drug dealer. In the movie, it shows you that Big Meech's mother never accepted him being a drug dealer.
Listen, man, Hassan Campbell, he's talking some truth right there. You know, Big Meech has spread a lot of pain through the community. And listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and act like I haven't been out there in these streets once upon a time. But we evolve, we change, we unlearn things that we thought was cool back in the days, and things that the routes that we would use usually to make money. I'm not going to act like I'm sitting on a whole stack of money right now, but the option of just running back up in the streets and moving that crack rock and all the things that I used to move back in the days, I'm not acting like from a community standpoint, like, oh, I don't want to cause more poverty or cause more homelessness or whatever type shit. I understand, like, they're going to get it from somewhere, but I just don't want to be a part of the problem no more. I could find other ways of making money.
But some of you niggas in the comment section is mad at me because I won't accept the old me or the old Meech, nor would I accept us praising and celebrating when so many kids with the foster care, so many kids got touched by Africa Bear Bodies, so many kids got touched by R. Kelly's because of drugs.
The man's about to break down. Hold on, I need to read this comment right here. Come on, Friday, you celebrate all of them in the community. Do I? I celebrate artistry, but I don't celebrate fakari.
But this is what we are glorifying. We are happy for our own slaughter and wonder why when people sit at the table in America and decisions is being made over our lives. We got to look at the same people who put their knee on our necks. Why are we picking between a Trump and a Kamala Harris? Why are we not at the table, at the round table with our own political party?
Okay, he's going to go into other tangents. I got to say, I kind of agree with Hassan Campbell. I know he's taking it to way different places. He's going right back to African Babad and all that, but he's making some sense. A lot of the debauchery that's been happening in the community is because of the amount of drugs that have been distributed through the community. Obviously, we didn't plant the drugs in our own communities. It was planted from the outside. He's explained it here, and it's been explained in multiple videos, and y'all could do your research about the CIA and all of those different people who put crack into the communities in the first place. And then all of the people who were enlisted, like Freeway Ricky Ross was part of a whole big conspiracy that was going on with him and the CIA. Right? It was like literally using our people as pawns to take out our own people. You feel me? Down to Earth says, why not? You are celebrating top 5. Do we need to like put a term or like put a real definition on celebration and reporting on what's going on? Because to me, celebration would be, yo, Big Meech is home, or yo, top 5 is home. Hopefully gets back to that bullshit and starts turning up the crime rate. Yo, I hope he starts smoking on some more ops. We need some more shit to report on. Every op he smokes on, we could do another news story. Let's get it. Nah, B. It's kind of counterproductive sometimes in some of the shit that I do when I'm out here saying, nah, B, that's not the way you should be doing it, guys. Y'all are moving wrong. You're acting kind of immature. all of the different things that I get up on this platform and talk about when it comes to some of these young men and young women over here in Toronto, it doesn't help even me with the interviews, because I'm not over here agreeing with their fuckery. Right? Trinidad, big up, like and subscribe. Drake, great name, says, what do you agree with, Friday? I agree with the glorification that we do of the drug dealer above somebody who's in the community who's doing good shit. You got a lot of community activists out here who are doing great things. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Mr. Jaden Finch. We got Tara Muldoon, who's been over there doing the FU project for years. And I've had, we have Richard Miller from Keep6.org. People who I've had on the platform. And the Keep6.org interview did well, but it didn't hit the same as even me just talking about top 5. You feel me? So it's one thing if you don't try to bring any kind of balance, or you don't try to bring anybody to come in and talk about some of the wild things that we react to when we react to all these headlines. But I feel like if you want to be responsible on these microphones, it shouldn't be a thing as, you see your favorite drug dealer come home and you're like, yo, I wonder how he's gonna, spend his time home. He better go get himself 10 bitches and a brick. Let's get back to it. BMF is gonna be bigger than ever. Nah, B. And even with Big Meech, I think it'd be kind of crazy. And the man's like 56 years old now. So I don't think he's gonna come home and get right back to it. Don't get me wrong. Alpo did. And Alpo was under witness protection and all type of shit. And he still found a way to get back to it. Peace Love says, shout out Nia Singh. Salute to Nia Singh. That's my brother right there. I've had him on the platform multiple times, including during the times when he was running for mayor. Actively being in his corner, trying to help his campaign and voting. He actually one of the first people that made me go out and vote. I'm not going to lie. So I have mixed feelings when it comes to now saying, Big Meech is home. Let's celebrate. Let's go crazy and roll out the red carpet for him. He's obviously in a halfway house, so it's going to take some time before he can actually get back to what we're going to see him do in the public. Whether, we see him passing out turkeys or we see him becoming a spokesman for reform. Who knows? Who knows what the man's plan is? That's to be determined. However, as far as his past, I don't think that's to be celebrated. If anything, let's celebrate the man's future. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's celebrate Big Meech's future rather than celebrate some of the things in his past. Okay? I'm sure there was a lot of good times to be had. People were out there. Obviously, there's the video that I was watching earlier that I'm going to have to cut out of here where there was titties and ass all over the place. There was great times to be had. But that was back in the days. And a lot of those great times were on the backs of a lot of pain. So I'll say salute to him. But as far as celebrating him, that's to be determined. But let us move on.
We love hip hop.